ending off the week with a powerhouse of a movie. Hey everyone, welcome to Prince of the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to Casablanca, one of easily the most famous romance films of all time, and our final film for our romance movie week. So for those who somehow have not realized at this point, or if you're coming in, sometime in the future, and are like just discovering this reaction, this entire week we have been doing romance movies, a special week specifically dedicated to it, because at the end of every month we do a movie week. We normally have movie reactions every Saturday and Sunday, but at the end of every month we do an entire week, Monday through Friday specifically, of movie reactions instead. So there's not going to be any reactions for movies on Saturday and Sunday this week. It's just Monday through Friday, 5 reactions instead of 2. But yeah, the theme for this month has been romance films. And I've been very mixed on the selection that we ended up getting. All of these romance movies have ended up being very big name romance films. And some of them I've liked more than others. Really, the best way to look at it is the first 2 I reacted to this week, I was not a fan of that much. And the second 2 I reacted to, both of which were yesterday on Thursday, I actually liked a lot more. And so now we come to the 5th one, and it's like, where's this going to rank amongst it? So we have Casablanca, and I don't know much of anything about this, though it was mentioned quite a bit in When Harry Met Sally. I don't know if I didn't just fully grasp what they were saying about it, but also I was like trying to avoid hearing what they were saying about it as much as I could. Like, I was trying to watch the movie and listen to the dialogue, but I also didn't want spoilers because I knew I was doing this today. I didn't want to know what they were talking about exactly with the film, so I kind of tuned that part out a little bit. I still got the majority of When Harry Met Sally. I've actually also watched a couple reactions to it since I recorded that yesterday, and so it's just that one part I've kind of ignored a little bit. Not even completely, just enough to where it's I wouldn't get spoiled. I wouldn't know what's gonna happen, and all I know is I do know that it has something to do with a bar or something. I don't think it was a bar. It was it was something like that. And I believe the movie is in black and white. So it's an older film, I presume, because I believe it did show show a couple little bits of it during When Harry Met Sally. So I did see that wasn't something I could exactly avoid completely. But yeah, it was black and white. They mentioned the actors' names in it, and I don't remember. Black and white, and I think it's about a bar or something, which I guess could make sense. I could see a bar or something like that being called Casablanca. Um, I don't know if Casablanca is named for a place though, or if it's or what else it would be named for. I just don't know. Maybe that's just lack of knowledge on my part, but I don't know. Cuz this is one of those movies where it's yeah, like a lot of these movies I've heard about growing up. I've heard people mention it. I've heard it mentioned in pop culture a lot. A lot of other shows and movies have mentioned it. Um, but I have not. Until When Harry Met Sally, I don't think I've heard anything about it. It's just one of those things that people always gush over without actually explaining what it is. You know. Um, so I don't know what I'm getting into exactly here. Um, but yeah, it's been a very mixed week for me. So we'll see how it goes. and hope for the best. I will say during the closing thoughts, after I talk about the movie and everything, I'm going to end off the redirect here. And with, bleh, I can't speak. I'm going to end off the redirect after I give my closing thoughts with the announcement of what the July theme will be for the end of the month movie week. So get ready for that at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to get into the reaction and see what this one has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So I was looking some things up, like, regarding this film and what people viewed of it. Because I would not consider this a romance movie. And I know that might be a wild statement to make. Because romance is clearly part of the plot. It's like Ilsa and Rick's entire thing is important to things, especially with the choice at the end of her like having to basically go with what Rick's trying to do here and go with her husband rather than stay with him. But the movie's bigger focus, I feel, is on wartime drama. Like, if you want to consider it like a duo genre film, I would put wartime genre or wartime drama over romance. Because that's the main core of this film. The main core of this film is this takes place during World War II. The Nazis are coming to try and stop this resistance leader from making it to America and, you know, causing them more problems. And Rick has to figure out if he is even going to help him out or what he's going to do about this, how this is going to affect him, all while reconnecting with an old flame who just happens to be the wife of the resistance leader. And again, the romance is part of it. It's a part of the film you just can't deny. You can't, like, ignore it and say it's not important. It's very important. But the wartime drama stuff seems like a bigger deal. It seems like, at least to me, it seems like it was more of the highlight, the focus of the film, with the romance kind of acting as, like, just what's the word? As a way to, like, push that forward. As a way to, like, allow... It was basically... It almost felt like a plot device. And I don't mean that as a negative. But it almost felt like a plot device as a way to make this cynical, jaded, bitter man end up helping this resistance leader make it out of Casablanca. It felt like it was specifically the romance was there for that purpose, because him reconnecting with Ilsa and everything was what caused him to, you know, help them. That was the entire reason for that. And the romance didn't even end up going anywhere. Like, they even said at the end, it's like, we'll always have Paris. After last night, after, like, they reconnected, they'll always have Paris, they'll always have those memories, but she needs to leave with him. She needs to, you know, basically leave Rick in the past. The ending of the story, like, kind of goes against a lot of, and considering this movie came out in the early 40s, it goes against a lot of romantic tropes where it's like the guy and the girl get together in the end. Instead, like, they reconnect and their love still exists, but it's because of that love that they choose to separate. That she goes and leaves for, I think they're going to Lisbon first, and then we'll head to America from there. But it's important that the romance doesn't happen. I don't think this story could work the other way around. I don't think it would work if she stayed with Rick. And I want to mention again, by the way, her romance with Rick, you would normally see as like, oh, she was cheating on her husband. She thought he was dead. Her romance with Rick was actually entirely reasonable because she had thought he was dead at that point. And she literally, like, broke it off. She left him and everything at the train station. That was because she had found out that her husband was still alive. Like, that's the point. And again, she still loved Rick, unquestionably. And that was, again, a big part of things. And is what allowed Rick to finally decide to help. To go against his not taking a stand ideals and instead side with them. So yeah, it's just, I feel the romance comes second, or at the very least, a way to put it is that it's there to push forward the main themes of resisting fascist regimes. Like, the anti-Nazi sentiments were a lot bigger, in my opinion, than the romantic sentiments, especially with how it ended. Like literally, the ending, like 5 minutes, Rick and Ilsa end up separating. She goes with her husband, they leave, and then Rick shoots a Nazi. Shoots and kills a Nazi. And it's like, yeah, I think that's the bigger focus here. There's a lot of quotes in this that I obviously recognize. A lot of quotes that I've heard, like, in, like, all kinds of movies and shows, etc., etc. I just didn't know exactly where they came from before. I might have heard like they came from this and just didn't remember. It's possible. But I didn't know going into this reaction that they were from this. So it's like every time one of them came up, like, of all the gin joints and all the towns and all the countries and all the world, why did she have to come into mine? It's like, I have heard variations of that pretty often, I feel. And it's like, I had no idea what that was from originally. And so when he starts to say that, it's like, I caught that right away. I'm like, oh shit, I know that line. And of course the here's looking at you, kid, which was, again, repeated like half a dozen times throughout this film, to good effect. It's like, I knew that line because I've heard that line said, again, in various other places, obviously referencing this. And I just didn't really know that. And even other lines, like, I don't know if they, like, specifically came from this, like, I'm going to paraphrase here what he said at the end. It's like, looks like this is the start of a beautiful friendship. It's like, yeah, I've heard that line everywhere. Everyone has. Did that come from here? Also, he said the usual suspects and everything. It's like, was that like a line that people used beforehand, or did that come from here? Because I think I heard before that the movie The Usual Suspects was like the name, the title came from something else. I just don't think I knew what it was. Was it this? I heard that it was a reference to something, but I didn't hear what it was a reference to. And I know that there's a lot of cases of movies, shows, even band names taking from other places, like Fallout Boy. Fallout Boy is a reference to a character in The Simpsons. It's literally like a superhero character in The Simpsons, Fallout Boy. And it's like that's where the band got their name from. So it's like it's not unbelievable that the movie The Usual Suspects might have got their name from this. That's not unbelievable at all. I just don't know if that is where it is from. Um, but the words "the usual suspect" could be used anywhere, so it's like I'm not sure. But I just thought of that like when he said that, because when he said that, my first thought was the movie. um, yeah, there's a lot of really interesting political intrigue here, and there was one thing that I was almost expecting to happen that just never did, and I was expecting when like the Nazis of the Third Reich were in the bar and everything. I'm surprised nothing was ever brought up about Sam, because the Nazis were very much not just after Jewish people. They were after people of color. They were after queer people, and Sam, like being so close to Rick, like them being kind of best friends to a degree, and Sam being like so well respected and treated there, like a part of me was kind of like almost flinching, waiting for something to be said, and I'm almost kind of glad it wasn't, that it never went there, because I would have been super uncomfortable and sad for him because he seemed like a good guy. But also, it's like I feel like something might have been said, but maybe they didn't say anything because it was like an unoccupied territory at the moment. I don't know. I can't say with any certainty. Um, I just was a little surprised that nothing did come of that. But again, there's a part of me that's glad that it didn't. A part of me that almost kind of wishes that something was touched on there. But it's just an odd feeling. um, yeah, I found a good portion of this early on to be pretty boring. I won't lie. But once it like really got started, it did really get started. Like it did become a lot more interesting. And I know there was a lot of time where I wasn't saying anything. I was pretty quiet. I was really trying to grasp everything because because I feel like there was a lot being said, and specifically in regards to wartime stuff like this, I sometimes have a little bit of trouble keeping up. I can't entirely explain why, but for some reason it just gives me trouble like keeping on track with everything in a lot of stuff like this. Um, but yeah, I got the biggest gist of it, and I might check this out again. I might watch it a couple more times. I've seen When Harry Met Sally a couple more times since I recorded that yesterday, so it wouldn't be out of the question for me to do the same with this. Um, I definitely want to like check out just like some reviews of it though, see what people like think about it. Um, because it's very interesting. And it touches on a lot of topics that at the time this came out were extremely relevant, and unfortunately in the modern day are once again extremely relevant. They shouldn't be, but they are. it's it's terrible that like ideals and thoughts and themes from a movie that came out like what is it, 80 years ago now. It's terrible that this kind of stuff is still relevant, that this kind of stuff still matters today, that we have to still worry about Nazis. Maybe not in the same way, maybe not in the same to the same degree, but Nazis like still exist, unfortunately, and a lot of times just come with different faces, different colors as in like not not race color. You know what I mean. I feel like I'm going to dig myself further into a hole just trying to explain this. Different, like, flag colors. I mean, like, different countries and all. I you know what I mean. I'm going to shut up now. But, yeah. It's like they come in like, different, like, styles, but they still exist. And fascism in general still exists, and it's terrible, like, where this world's currently at with a lot of war and stuff. And it's just it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. And maybe one day we'll be rid of this kind of shit for good, but I unfortunately don't know. We'll have to just wait and see and hope for the best. Because, God, we need to be rid of this shit. Just any level of horrific bigotry and evil like this. But, yeah. This, like I said, once it got started, it really got started. It really became, like, investing and interesting. I also just really like that the Nazi was killed in the end. Like, that was just, like, super satisfying. And, yeah, I thought it, like, ended exactly, like I said, as it needed to. I feel like it would not have worked if Ilsa stayed with Rick. It wouldn't have made sense. So, yeah, I rather enjoyed this film. I think I don't think it's perfect necessarily, but it's really good. It has a lot to say. And again, unfortunately, a lot of things are still relevant in 2025. So, let me know what your thoughts are on Casablanca, probably one of the most well-known romance movies in history, even though, again, not really sure I'd call it a romance film. At least not primarily. But tell me your thoughts down below, and thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.